Yeah, back to happier things like the decline of American civilization. Do you want to be at the top? Like, where on the boat sink do you want to be president? Like, do you want to be where like everyone's definitely we're slipping below the water now? It's gonna get bad, or do you want to be the guy who's on it when it hits the bottom?
Well,
Just
you
to
don't
say
want to
that,
be
like,
Tsar Nicholas. I know that much.
that's true. Yeah, when it hits
You
the
don't want to
bottom,
be.
that's
You
when
don't want to be
Tsar
Muammar
Nicholas gets
Gaddafi.
appointed. Yeah, but the guy before that, do you want to be the guy who's just like, dang, probably get out after this one? Like,
If you're gonna be Muammar Gaddafi, get your tetanus shot now.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Growing Up Christian. I'm Sam.
I'm Casey.
Cool.
I'm Jeremiah. I'm sorry.
Jeremiah is looking at his phone, so
Oh
that's
my word.
cool.
Because Casey sent me a text message. I was like, wait, do I need to have this for the show? What's going on?
He's too busy looking at awesome Memorial Day memes. Happy Memorial Day, everybody.
Happy Memorial Day.
I have a beautiful quote to get us, just get the mood right. I found it on Facebook where all beautiful quotes go to infect the brains of boomers.
The Promethean estuary of like motivational quotes.
Yeah, I like my favorite is it's like it says who's it by? It says dash unknown, and you could just say anything dash unknown in front of like a nice picture, and people will share it a lot if they're over 55. It's our flag does not fly because the wind moves it. It flies with the last breath of each soldier who died protecting it. Because people were coming for our flag. It's like it makes it sound like our country won an awesome game of capture the flag. Is what it sounds like.
Was this quote like attached to a picture of like Cillian Murphy rolling up his sleeves?
No, it's attached to a picture of an American flag.
But I think it's Cillian. I'm not trying to be that guy and correct you, but I've always thought it was weird because it's definitely spelled like Cillian. But multiple people have corrected me that it's Cillian. Anyway, I don't. He's one.
I
of
hope
those
you feel
guys
good about
just
yourself
like,
right now.
Thank you. It's just like Tom Hardy, where like people see pictures of them and they can't help themselves. They're like, I need to put some text over this guy's face. Like, this guy will make my point. This slightly effeminate, gaunt British actor who plays a terrible person from 100 years ago. He'll make my point for me.
Yeah, he is dressed nice.
That's true. Yeah.
Did you guys do your honorable duty and blow a soldier today? Or sorry. Also can include veterans into this. You guys know I'm a very patriotic person.
It's not Veterans
so I have
Day.
to ask. But people fucking act like it is. They always include like, oh, and don't forget about the people who've currently. They always add that on. It's like an asterisk on Memorial Day. No one wants to feel left out. I know, but it's like, why do we have both? Really? I mean. Yeah, just combine them together. I mean,
did you spell out any clearer how much you value the military?
Like, I was actually bummed. I was gonna on the weekends I play Call of Duty with my brothers online because like all the time zones line up and we can do it.
Basically, it's like Stolen Valor, the video game.
Well, that wasn't the direction I was going, but one of my brothers is active duty military. That's where I was going, and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, you want to hop on tomorrow?" He's like, "No, I got work." And me and the other brother are like, "Oh, we have Memorial Day off." And he was like, "Yeah, must be nice."
I hope your brother appreciates anti-military jokes. It's funny. We're all here to laugh at America's domination over the entire world. That's great. Also, we have a local business kind of blowing some smoke up their ass today that I thought was funny. They posted because they didn't need to really post anything, but it was, we could be open today and we'd most likely be very busy, but we are closed today in observance. Yeah, it is. We are closed today in observance of the holiday and a much needed rest from the grind. Happy Memorial Day. And it's basically like, we could be making a lot of money today, but we love the troops so much. We're going to sacrifice
pitiful virtue
because
fuck, that sucks. Holy shit, he sucks so bad.
Because I think what we're seeing here is he has that all gave some, but some gave all mentality that he's just trying to channel on his small business Facebook page.
He gave $1,500 in revenue by staying closed today. That's the all that he gave.
Yeah.
He could have made like a payment on his Kia Sorento if he would have only stayed open today, but he values the troops.
He could have stayed open and given all the proceeds that day to some sort of like wounded warrior fund or something like that if he really cared. But
what type of business?
It's a pizza place.
I almost feel like that's like,
despite his Blue Lives Matter sign, I still go there to get
I think it's like
pizza.
Wrong. Well, all right, a little bit of a rabbit trail. You got to put up with some stuff at certain levels of society. Like, I'm not going to be able to join a gym that doesn't have a Blue Lives Matter flag hanging somewhere in it, you know? Like, you got to accept that that's just the way it goes. I feel like a guy at a pizza place being real excited about Memorial Day, he doesn't drive a Kia Sorento. It's definitely like an F-150 or a Super Duty or a Ram or something like that, like, or a Jeep. It could be a Jeep. It's got to be one of those cars, though.
It always goes back to cars and what people drive with you, Jeremiah.
You can judge some books by their covers.
Yeah,
you can.
It's like it's identity forecasting.
Exactly.
That's why it makes a lot of sense that I drive a 2011 Honda Civic with a broken bumper and lots of rust on it.
That does. Yeah. You do sound like a Northeast post-emo elder millennial.
Dude,
all I need to do is empty my trunk so I can go on tour with it with 4 other people.
Dude, I love car watching as much as I love people watching, and for all the same reasons. And like the Walmart closest to my house in El Dorado, they have like there is always something interesting or fun in the parking lot. Like, for instance, somebody who I imagine they work there. I assume they work there. Drives one of those. It was a factory Dodge Dakota convertible that they made in the 90s. So it's like the old square body Dodge Dakota little truck, but it has a rag top on it that you can take off.
Wait, boom, not like off the bed. Like the regular cab has a rag top.
It can be an open cab, yes.
There's no way. Like a 90s Dakota.
Yep. I'm telling you, it exists. And
I'm
you should
Googling
have
it.
one.
I didn't even know that.
Oh my gosh, that is the coolest. That is the coolest little truck. I want one. Oh my gosh, it has a little roll bar and everything.
Dude, it's rad. And somebody has a pristine one at my Walmart.
That's got to be the least safe vehicle ever sold in the 90s. Like, those old little pickup trucks were already incredibly unsafe. Now you take away like probably 25% of the structural rigidity. Oh yeah, it's going to be good.
Dude, it's like casually playing with suicide.
Yeah.
Like, you just gradually upping your dose of aspirin every time you feel a little headache or something come on, and like, or you could just buy a convertible Dakota and take turns quickly.
It's the truck equivalent of a motorcycle.
Yeah, it really is.
I feel like you could is it unanimous? We'll find out here. The worst car, like, the worst person behind the wheel is driving a yellow H3, right?
No, it's a Nissan Altima driver.
Oh my god! I should have expected you to disagree with me.
No, like, if there's any H3 that's still on the road, they're an enthusiast at this point, because those vehicles did not want to live. Like,
no, you can't give them. You cannot excuse their behavior.
I'm saying if they've
survived,
if they've survived, I'm saying, so they probably won't be the worst driver. The worst driver are Altima drivers, because like, their cars are always dragging a bumper, and they're made of 3 different colors, and they're going 20 over and weaving around people. Like, they're ready to die at any given moment.
I'm not talking actual driving capabilities.
Oh, you mean
I'm
just
talking
the worst people?
The worst kind of human behind that wheel.
Oh, no. Then it's not them. It's the guy with a quad cab Ram diesel dually driving it to do errands. Those are the worst guys.
Okay. You lost me at dually. As far as I know, dualies are strollers, because I worked in the stroller industry for enough time.
Sam, you've seen trucks with like 2 sets of wheels in the back, right? I don't know if you're making a joke right now.
I'm half and half. I've seen trucks with 2 wheels in the back. So is that a dually?
No, 2 wheels on each side in the back. 2 wheels in the back is very normal. 4 wheels in the back, 2 on each side, dually. It's so you can
It's
take
a
more
truck
weight
but
in the
with
bed.
them birthing hips.
Exactly. Man, Tasty, he's so good at this. I meant to send you guys a picture. I don't remember if I did. I was waiting to get to pick up some food. Like I was waiting for our food to be made somewhere, so I was just sitting in my car in the parking lot, this tight little parking lot in town, and this Ram 2500 quad cab dually diesel starts rolling through the parking lot and slowly makes a circle, and then about 2 minutes later it comes back and slowly makes a circle. So I figure like they're just waiting for someone to like
Have sex with them.
to leave their parking spot was my
Oh.
guess. But then they decide to pull diagonally. They give up and they pull into the handicap space / the loading zone space. So they're breaking, I think, 2 laws at the same time. And this woman in her 30s gets out, and like the truck is high enough she has to like drop to the ground a little bit and then walks 15 feet inside to get her food. There's a bumper sticker on the back window that says like God, not fear. Any fear other than like walking from the back of the parking lot, I guess. But
Nice.
there was, and I looked because I was so mad. No handicap plate, no handicapped hanger tag, like absolutely just double illegally parked to go pick her food up because she didn't want to walk. Faith
I
not
think-
fear.
Man, dude,
average
every
citizen-
like lift kit over 2 inches should automatically come with like a glory hole retrofit for your kit. Like it just becomes a problem on those trucks because like who can stand high enough to put their ding dong into the cab at that point?
Right. You got to be very tall or have a very long pee-pee. I feel like owning a car boot should just be something that general citizens should all have. It's like placing cars under citizens' arrest when they do dumb shit like that.
It just no,
Yeah,
no.
I'm
you
not
take
having
this
it.
home.
Like if someone double parks, anyone should be able to put a boot on their car. That's the world I want to live in.
Yeah, dude. There was I was at that Walmart yesterday, and there was a bumper sticker I saw that like really got my attention, and I tried to take a picture of it, and I just couldn't get it like cleared up enough. But it said I'm a Jeep Nana, like a regular Nana, only cooler.
It's so awful.
Oh
I was like, man, I think I might be a Jeep Nana now.
yeah, that's a very specific lane. Oh yeah, how's having a classic Jeep been to you, Casey? Are you starting to feel different?
Yeah, no, it's like I just took a testosterone shot.
Nice.
Like I've started shoplifting.
You feel like you grew 6 inches.
Yeah, I used to conceal carry. Now I brandish.
Yeah.
I don't even wear a holster. I just carry it in my hand.
Like
I just hold it in the air wherever I go.
to be fair, it's probably one of your antique store 22 pistols, so nobody's really scared. They're like, that's interesting. What's that boy doing?
14 misfires for every successful shot.
It's like it's a 22 rim fire. We're safe.
Yeah, but just like dudes with like ripped dudes, it's more about the brandish than the actual practical application. Like how many
Exactly.
fights you gonna get in, but you can probably intimidate your way into and out of a few if you just have
Right.
big enough.
It's not about how many you get into, it's about how many you deter, which you can't prove, but it's a lot. Everyone knows it's a lot.
I think I feel the same way about like any in shape dude as Sam does about the military.
Yeah.
So we're just talking about our insecurities tonight. Is that what we're doing? Is that
Yeah, just seething with envy.
Yeah.
my really fit
A little
dudes,
bit
Casey?
gay. Is
You
that
mean
what you're
guys
saying?
who are like 5'10"? That's what you mean?
Yeah, screw 'em. Screw all of you guys. Oh man, so much has happened since the last time the three of us were together.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
National figure, America's mayor, Rudy Giuliani.
Ugh,
There's
what
been
a
some
beaut.
distracting allegations come up about him. Did you guys hear any
Really?
of that?
No, I think I missed this.
Oh yeah, he
Post Borat 3. He didn't learn from that, which is crazy.
he's in some hot water. I don't have the information like in front of me here, but I did read some articles on it, and like there's a lady that was like his assistant or secretary or something. She worked for him, and she claims that basically like
He
she
leaked
was
black goo on her.
yeah. Actually, yes. Like she was sexually assaulted, like basically as a condition of employment for years.
Christ.
Ooh, yeah, okay, I've got it. if you want. A woman who says she worked as an off the books employee for Rudy Giuliani. Oh, that's a great start.
Off the books is the worst start to any
During
sexual
his stint
assault
as Trump's
allegation story.
lawyer, okay, this is very recent then. During his stint as Trump's lawyer, she alleges that the former mayor coerced her into sex and owes her $2 million in unpaid wages. All right. I'm going to be a little bit of
Those
a
are heavy
misogynist here.
claims.
If you're a off the books employee for this guy for the period of one presidential term and he owes you $2 million in unpaid wages, you might be a prostitute. I think she's just like that's like $400,000 a year to be an off the books employee for one of
It's
the
sexual
skeeziest
assault
people, like,
unless she gets paid for it. Is that what you're saying, Jeremiah?
I'm not victim blaming here. I'm just saying there's a lot of missing information in that paragraph that I feel like
that is true.
No,
We need
I
to
mean,
hear
if
some info about what her role was in the organization.
she was Giuliani's business development director and public relations consultant from 2019 to 2021. Neither of those are real jobs. Those are titles you give people.
Boy, he's coming out hot here. In
it is,
dude. What are you? You Giuliani stan? You simp for Julie?
it is interesting. Like, I hope she gets her $2 million. If that's what she's owed, and she signed up for the job knowing that, like, look, I'm going to for $2 million. This is $2 million worth.
She wants $10 million. She's saying he owes her $2 million, but she's suing for 10.
Good. I hope she gets it. I hope because she earned it. If honestly, if you even looked at his cock, you earned $10 million. No questions asked. So,
right. So just for balance, I guess, since I'm the one defending Rudy Giuliani here, apparently
we're going to clip that. We'll use that later.
Apparently, this same woman had accused a romantic partner of raping her and throwing her down a flight of stairs. And then that man countersued, saying he was the one being physically assaulted and harassed, and sued for defamation. And then she paid $10,000 to settle her claims in 2016. And they were still fighting through some other stuff as recently as last year. So also not victim blaming here. If Rudy Giuliani did anything to her, I hope she takes him for all he's worth, which is probably not even $10 million at this point.
Negative $10 million. She owes him $10 million after suing him.
But this definitely, there seems like there's a lot of information we don't know about this situation. So while it's fun to be like Rudy Giuliani sucks, and I hope this hurts him, and I feel both of those things, like this feels like this is not going to be the last we hear of this story.
Yeah, that's probably true. I should have dug into it a little deeper. I read it like a few days ago, and I haven't kept up with it. But yeah, it sounds like there might be a little more or a little less to the final proceedings.
But if there was anybody who you were going to believe assault allegations about, or that he would also pay a prostitute to work directly for him, or pay somebody in like to be a prostitute, regardless of whether or not they were, like Rudy Giuliani is definitely one of the people you're like, oh yeah, 100%.
He's done all of those things.
Right. Exactly.
For sure, he's done all those things.
I mean, if you're a paid politician in this country, you've done most of those things.
Kind of are.
He probably waited until like September 21st to resume his activities, but you know, we all grieve at different paces.
Yeah. What else has been going on? And you said there's a lot. And you're in the know.
Well, okay, so this is kind of along the same lines, meaning I got excited about this story, and then the more I like looked for it, the more I was like, yeah, maybe there's not a whole lot here. But it was in Forbes, and it's basically the same story has run in a few other publications, but it says Trump supporters scammed by novelty items, quote, Trump bucks advertised as legal tender. And
nice. I like where this is going.
So I'll go ahead and just give you the caveat to it here. So I looked for some more stuff about the companies that they mentioned here, and I have no doubt that like 30-some boomers were scammed out of their money. I mean, that's guaranteed, right? But I went
arguably anybody who's ever donated to an election was scammed out of their money, right?
Pretty much, yeah, 100%. But I went looking for some of the companies that it lists here as promoting these products, and I really can't find like much of anything about them. So I don't know. I don't know if there's meat here or if this is like the media just grabbing like a catchy headline and running with it. But it's saying that some Trump supporters said they spent thousands of dollars on items in an effort to support a future presidential campaign for Trump. Colorado-based companies Patriots Dynasty, Patriots Future, and USA Patriots, all good names, have been
It's so
advertising
obvious.
products with Trump's likeness, including black $10,000 quote Trump bucks sold for $99.99. They said could be redeemed as legal tender at most banks, including JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo.
They were selling
No,
$10,000 bills with Trump's face on them for $100, and
bro,
saying
it's
they could
war
be.
bond. You know what? You gonna go fight the Nazis? Like, you buy war bonds. That's what you do when you're Sam and you're not out there like bleeding
true.
on the front line. You're just a critic at home.
That's
You buy a
true.
war bond.
I feel pretty convicted, actually. That's a good point.
I have.
What's that?
I don't
Alex
feel
Jones
any
always says?
conviction yet.
The man in the arena. Honor goes to the man in the arena.
Also to the guy who bought his shoes for him, the items, which include coins, checks, and membership cards, are sold alongside, quote, Trump rebate banking system handbooks, which the companies claim are, quote, official documents that allow the items to be used. And that is enough for some people to just buy them. So
It's
basically,
also blatant fraud.
yeah, like how widespread this is, I don't know. I mean, they quote a couple of people on here. One of them that they quote on here, I pulled up his Twitter. His name's John Amon, and he had a tweet that went viral that says, "Alert, if you purchased any of the TRB Systems items, you got scammed." A lot of caps here. The TRB vouchers, DJT Golden Checks, DJT Diamond Checks, TRB Golden Checks have no monetary value. They are, quote, commemorative only, in all caps. And it's just a bunch of people being like, you dummy. But I don't know if this guy is saying that he actually bought them. Honestly, he seems almost like a bot. Like, his account is just basically like him advertising for a couple of different like management groups that supposedly like get you money for they're still advertising like, get your COVID checks from the government, business owner.
So grifters being mad at running a bot account to be mad at other grifters. Conservative fundraising is basically just grifting all the way down at this point.
It's really the gold rush is over, Shiba coin has dropped significantly, and like there's just the people left holding the bag like me.
Actually, speaking of
bought
coin,
Trump bucks.
Jeremiah, it's been a little while.
I'm looking it up.
It's been a little while since we've looked up Trump coins or whatever they were.
Let's go branding coin.
Yes.
Oof. Oh, this is a lot of zeros. Stamp. It is worth currently 0.00000004693 dollars. It looks like over the last.
Down?
When did the last time we looked at it?
Say 2 months.
It is definitely. It's actually up a tiny bit from 2 months ago, but that is way down from. I mean, if you zoom out, it's just a flat line. It just goes down and stays flat, and every once in a while there's one heartbeat, and then it just stays flat after that. So
what was the highest it ever was?
Total market at probably like $10. Let's see. It used to be 0.00000002136. I realize those different amounts are not going to make sense because that's a lot of zeros to keep track of. I'm trying to find the market cap right now, Casey. It's not listed, but $773 of it have been traded in the last 24 hours.
That's wild. That's a lot.
It's just like one person trying to buy cigarettes.
Yeah. Yep. So its price change over the past 7 days is down another 18%. So it's going well.
Beautiful.
Well, this does include a couple of quotes from people, which are really fun. Mainly one here. It's listed as crucial quote. Dude, none of this. Don't you wonder like how much of this stuff is actually written by humans at this point, and how much of it is just like, hey, ChatGPT, like summarize a couple of Reddit threads for me or something.
Yeah, is this from someone on Twitter that they're quoting?
I don't know. It just says Alabama woman.
Oh,
Says,
God.
now I realize, well, that was stupid, the Alabama woman said, adding she bought them because I believe President Trump, because he knows all about finance, and he was going to help the real Trump patriots get rich.
I mean, that's something somebody would say somewhere.
Amazing.
It's also something that most people don't probably. Well, if you fell for that, you believe that. If you fell for that scam, you buy into that narrative. But
Conservatives are always talking about like we need to have our own economy, like the second economy of like freedom loving patriots or whatever. Like just encourage them to do that. It doesn't hurt anybody. They can, if they want those to be worth 10,000 Trump bucks, they can be worth 10,000 Trump bucks. It's cool. Like
in their own, they need like their own separate they need their own separate internet at this point where they can just
they
buy
kind of
and
want
trade
that.
in Trump bucks.
Yeah, they keep getting kicked off the ones that have terms of service. So
yeah, exactly. So just give them their own. Just relegate them to the corners of the earth where they can really
Rumble
form a mob.
Republicans.
Rumble Republicans. I try not to go to Rumble.
Double R-worded.
Is there anything good on Rumble, or is it just exactly what you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I made an account at one point a while ago, but I never really went back to it. It's kind of like Hive. Like I made an account, but I tried to post one thing and it wouldn't post, and so I was like,
You're like, I tried.
I guess I'm a legacy social media guy. It's just these have been around for 8 years and pretty attached to them.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's very hard to tell with some of this stuff if it's like actually real. Is this something that actually happened? Is this like two people that got scammed by some small scale operation or something like that? Like you can't tell anymore because they literally like are just farming headlines now.
Well, and a lot of that merch is just being farmed as well. I get recommended so many ads. You guys probably do too. For like, we're in the category of like white guys in our 30s, so I get marketed lots of like, Dr. Squatch, Manscaped, and then lots of things that are like called Skull and Bones or Freedom Against Fear or whatever, like clothing companies that all have the exact same stuff. Like it's a bunch of pithy quotes on shirts. There's going to be at least one or two Let's Go Brandon shirts. Like they all follow the exact same thing, and it looks like they're just paying like people on Fiverr to make this art that's like vaguely patriotic, just 1776 in some scripty font, with like a little American flag on the sleeve or something, and they're charging like $25 for it, and some sob story about thing that's like supports our mission of real freedom loving patriots celebrating all the values we hold dear. Like, yeah, it's the same screen.
Never like underestimate a patriot born in May.
Sure,
they are fiercely loyal.
Yeah,
they tell it like it is, and they will do anything to protect their family.
Yeah, it's always shirts with too many words. It's like, I might not be a perfect son, but my mom gave me this shirt, and if you do anything to fuck with me, you'll never find the body. And it's like, wow, that escalated quickly.
Quote, unknown.
Yeah.
/ Cillian Murphy.
Oh, thank you, Casey. I'm Googling now. Is it Cillian or Killian?
I do like him. I am naturally like going to look favorably upon like anything that they commandeer his images for. Same with Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy, like I think I rip on people for being so like obsessed with The Rock. I despise him, but like I would watch any terrible blockbuster that Tom Hardy's in.
Oh yeah, he's got charisma, and
he literally just looks like every T-Mobile manager.
I mean,
like every single one.
Again, I feel like I've quit movies, and I'm having a hard time placing the last thing I saw Tom Hardy in.
Mad Max Fury Road?
Yep, that would be it. That would definitely be it.
Love that movie.
That's an awesome movie.
Okay, so...
Is he in a Batman movie?
Yeah, he was Bane in...
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so those are probably the two Tom Hardy movies I've seen.
Oh man, there's a really good one, Warrior. A recommendation for anyone else out there.
Nope. Is he like a UFC fighter?
He's a UFC fighter. It's a story about two brothers. It is excellent. It, like, if you look up the trailer makes it look like some sucky like Rocky knockoff or something. It is not that at all. It's a totally different movie. It's amazing.
Oh,
he's Tom Hardy in a lot of different things. Legend. He was really good in that. He plays like twin brothers who are like English gangsters.
Oh yeah.
He was also in Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy.
Yeah. Yes, he was.
They did a great job.
Revenant.
We've come full circle. Wow.
He's a wonderful man.
I'm glad we had
So
this.
and he bought a Trump box. So there's that.
Wait,
Did he?
Tom Hardy bought Trump bucks?
I shouldn't say things. I shouldn't make jokes about Tom Hardy.
Yeah. It's pretty disrespectful.
Casey, does your shirt say "These colors don't run"?
It does.
Okay,
I wore
but is
this
it an American
special for
flag
you
or something
guys.
else?
It's got an eagle on it.
Oh, okay. All right. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I like
It
that.
is pretty
I like
cool,
that.
right? It was $5 at Walmart, and I got to the cash register and it wouldn't scan, so I rang up a flower pot twice, and I don't feel good about it, but I did do it. Actually, I really don't. I don't feel anything about it. I'm virtue signaling. You guys aware of this term?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
I've become quite familiar with it.
Dude, your story about the I don't want I don't want to get too specific about it because I'm not trying to like draw any negative attention to anyone or anything like that. But your story about the pizza parlor.
Oh yeah.
So there was a post. I sent it to you, Sam. I don't think I sent it to you, Jeremiah. There was a post that came up I saw on Instagram, and it was somebody talking about it being their birthday. They had turned 30 something, and they were like summarizing their year in like real artsy language and stuff. And it was a series of pictures of them, of other things, right? And it sucked. I mean, it was really annoying to read. I really hated reading it. A lot of just like goofy language and whatnot, but
It
you
just
got
pulls
to the
out all
end.
the stops. It's like it hits it's all the stops.
It was a person with like no shame or self-awareness at all,
Or
and
conviction, or probably personality, or anything to really stand on as a human that sets himself apart as an individual.
oh my god, dude, just like so self-absorbed while trying to sell the idea that they're a really caring, loving person that's so invested in all of these things outside of themselves.
And by
So there was a
sell, you
great
mean actually sell.
yes. So there was 2 slides at the end of it, right? The first one, it says things you can't give me for my birthday, and I'm trying to remember what all of them were. Reparations was on there. Defunding the military.
Well,
Let's
so
see,
her and I
trans
have at least
rights.
one thing in common.
Yeah. And you're both working equally hard at it.
My jokes about it are as worthwhile as her Instagram posts.
Well, you know what? You have to speak truth to power when you are, in fact.
We're living an extreme day.
Wow, that's
You guys
a
like
deep
that?
cut. Yeah, I
Because-
did. I remember that well.
And that's because, guys, that's because silence is violence.
That's right.
And that means that you have to post on social media. Otherwise, the enemy wins.
So it was things you can't give me for my birthday. Reparations, trans rights, defunding the military, food for all was on there. It was a bunch of these things. It was like a top 10 list of like causes you should be for in 2023. And then it said, the next slide was things you can do for me for my birthday. Subscribe to my OnlyFans, buy
What?
me a book, send me a donation. Like, and I was
That is
looking at
not
this
the
list.
direction I was expecting that to go.
It was amazing. It was an amazing post. And
Oh
I
my
was thinking
gosh.
like, okay, well, what charity are they going to put in here? Make a donation to this charity. Like that I had 100% confidence that somewhere in this last screen there was going to be a thing that says make a donation to the Advocate or something like that. Like some sort of charity for one of these causes and stuff. There was not. It was just 100% give me money, give me money, give me money, give me money. There's like 6 different ways to give you money, and that was it.
Are you sure you didn't miss the point or part where she identified her OnlyFans as a 501c3 organization?
Right.
Oh man, what would be the angle? No, I'm thinking, is there an angle someone could try to claim that?
I mean, all
Like
your proceeds would have
educational?
to go towards like sex education in rural communities
Yeah,
or something.
yeah. I wonder if somebody could like make a
Incidentally,
pitch
your
for that of like,
material just goes to them for free. That's all it is. Like you keep your money, but you just let them watch you like rub one out. That's it. It's a bunch of 12-year-old boys watch you just rub your pussy, and they're just like, "Whoa!" And you're like, "Congratulations, this was paid for by probably some Republican dad in the fucking Rust Belt."
oh, so you need to give call out specifically. Oh,
Oh man, dude, it was yeah. I just read this and I'm like, oh, dude, this is. I wish I could print this off and just like put it in a time capsule that I can't
Yeah.
like put a timer on it that I can't open for 25 years because if 50 some year old me opened that thing and was just and read it, I don't know if I could even like 10 years from now. I don't know if I could look at that and really understand the context for it or like what's so
and you're
funny
saying
about it.
because everybody has food, we had reparations, everyone's taken care of. That's why you'd be so shocked. It'd be hard for you to imagine a time in human history where nobody was taken care of, right?
Right. It'd be like Europeans when somebody asks them, like, what do you think an ambulance ride costs in America?
Yeah.
It'd be like, oh, I don't know. Do you tip the driver or what? And they're like, it's $3,000.
Yeah. Because in other countries, it's more like an Uber system, and you have like stars. So the ambulance drivers that you rate them, and then they rate you as a patient. And
is this a real thing?
no.
Oh,
It's like this guy works next to the hospital and he just calls in an ambulance every time he has to go to work.
Honestly, if you were an Uber driver who was like certified as an EMT, you'd probably make more money just doing both at the same time.
just like putting hints in your profile. Well, because people don't look at your profile before they hire you on Uber, I guess. How would you like? There's like a new class of Uber, like what, Uber Black or Uber
Lower
XL,
middle, you
whatever the
mean?
biggest
Lower
is.
middle or working? It's like those are the classes
Dude.
for Uber.
You may have stumbled onto like a really great business idea.
Mm.
Okay, think about this. Okay, the term ambulance chaser, reporter that it's like Nightcrawler, that Jake
Right.
Gyllenhaal movie
Which was
where he runs
what
around.
a great movie.
Fantastic movie. I just rewatched that last year, and it's great. It's a great movie. But what if? Okay, you can only do this in America. But what if you just like basically bought a flatbed truck, and instead of like piling sticks and leaves on it for money, what if you just like had a CB and you just listened for ambulance calls? You show up ahead of the ambulance and you say, "Hey, for $250, I'll take you to the hospital." How's that?
That's it.
Anyone in their right mind with no insurance would be like, "Yeah, let's do that." Even people with insurance, you'd be like, take out your card and see how much an emergency room visit is, and then you look at it and you're like, it's $850. Like, I'll get you there for $250, bro.
Now, Casey, only problem I'm hearing here, I don't know if a flatbed truck is necessary. I think you could put them inside a vehicle, and they might
Nope.
be more. Okay, all right, never mind.
Don't undermine my vision.
It was my vision, Casey. You're a vision stealer.
Don't undermine Sam's vision that I have perfected.
Casey's gonna pull up towing a trailer like a wagon, like a hayride wagon. He's gonna be like, it's so soft back there. You can just pile in. You can hold like 3 or 4 patients at a time to the hospital.
He's gonna pull up with a tow truck, but like it just has like the winch, and he's just gonna hook their shirt to the back of the hook and just
It's got
pull them up.
it's
They're
got
gonna
like
be
an
flapping
IV
in the wind
bag.
on the way back.
It's got like an IV bag instead of a mud flap on it.
Well, if you got to beat the cops there, or
Give me
beat
the
the
blood,
ambulances
Lord!
there,
And let me get away!
if you're trying to beat an ambulance there, you want to zip in and out of traffic. It could be a motorcycle. You get a motorcycle like with a sidecar that you're like loading them into, or you have to load them on behind you, like ratchet strap them
man.
to you.
That's the move. Replace a sidecar with a gurney, but with like thick wheels on it.
Oh, that's a great idea. Or you could even buy like one of those like have you ever gone on like Alibaba and looked at like motorcycles?
No.
They sell them on there. You could just like, I don't think you can buy them here because of emissions problems and stuff, like import tariffs and all that, but like you can go on there and just look through a list of like weird 125 motorcycle configurations. Like some of them have a truck bed. Some of them have a log splitter on the back. some of them are just like a mobile KitchenAid mixer. Like
That's what it pisses me off. Other countries are
they're all
so much better.
$400.
I know they're so much better at making like efficient vehicles that are cool. Americans would need like 6 vehicles to do that, and they would. I totally believe that there's a log splitter motorcycle that costs $300 that you can buy in Vietnam.
A motorcycle where when you throw all the ingredients in it, by the time you arrive at your destination, you have a freshly baked loaf of bread. I mean, that's fucking awesome.
It's like it's the Domino's like hot and ready truck or whatever. But it's using exhaust gas to heat it.
It's like 250cc chainsaw mill / tricycle.
It cooks your pizza
and every
on the
review
way.
is a North Korean slave that's being farmed out to the Russian government in Siberia, you know?
Oh, the internet was a great idea.
Oh my god.
I'm serious though. Like you can go on Alibaba and just look at that is the weirdest site on the internet. Just like the strangest that you could buy anything there, and you could buy them by the pallet, whatever you want.
Yeah, who? Because I assume it's mostly China. What factory there is like, let's just make weird versions of all of this stuff for like pennies? Like, who decides they need new products that are like, it's like an iPad, but it costs $37 and runs off a custom OS that, where did this come from? Who knows? Like, but it's going to look exactly like an iPad. Who are you selling that
like
to?
buying off of Wish and actually getting what you paid for.
Well, you're getting what you paid for, yeah, because it's so cheap.
I should say getting what you bought as opposed to an empty box.
I know Alibaba they struggle a lot with that too. I mean, there's a lot of scams on there, which big surprise.
Oh my god! And then by the time you get it, it's 3 months ahead, so you have to try to find your receipt in your email database.
Have you guys both ordered from there before
on Alibaba? No, I never have. Have you, Casey?
Yeah, I've ordered from there.
Like,
I've never heard of this website.
You've never heard of Alibaba?
All I can think of is Prince Ali, Fabulous He, Alia. What is it? Alibaba?
Prince Ali had to go pee under a palm tree.
Imagine the aesthetic and the scams of eBay, but Amazon, and it's for the rest of the world. That's Alibaba.
Amazing.
Pretty much.
I hate that I haven't known about this.
It's like Amazon, but you can buy in bulk, and everything sucks.
Yeah, I mean, so
it's like
Casey was right. Here's, oh my gosh, it is okay. So if you buy between 2 and 49 150cc mopeds, they're $649 each. If you buy more than 50 150cc mopeds, they're $599.
And you can't order them here because they roll coal straight from the factory.
You can get customized logos and packaging. You can customize, like, you can have it gift wrapped. It looks.
It runs off kitchen oil. It runs off gutter oil. You just dump it straight out of the fryer into the tank, and it goes.
Which would actually, you can convert any vehicle to do that, and is considered more economical.
Their tab, talking about their advantages, is spelled advantages. There are advantages. One of the things they say is, we have several utility, model, and appearance patents. You know it's good when they're like, there are several patents that our company has. Does that have anything to do with
all
this bike?
spelled wrong.
Not sure.
You can order your Harbor Freight moped in a like perfect replica Red Bull livery, straight from Formula One.
You can have as many patents as you want as long as you spell all the right words incorrectly.
Yeah, I love it's like a fun game to go on Wish and just like read description, like the headlines for items, because they're like a paragraph. Every single item is they're trying to hit every keyword, so like everything has 14 distinguishing factors in the headline.
I got an ad this week on Facebook from Wish that was guaranteeing that I could buy a Nintendo Switch for $7 on a flash sale.
$7. That is awesome. That's a great deal. Did you get one?
Nope.
Not even to see. What are they going to send you for $7 though? Like $7 feels like it would be worth it just to like see the scam.
Just to see what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, like if there was like $100 or something, I would think, oh, it's going to be like some crappy Android tablet running. Like
you
maybe it's
basically
running a Nintendo ROM
you
or
essentially are
emulator.
buying an email that says your order was canceled because you didn't order fast enough, and they just
Probably.
and they just hope you don't ask for a refund because it was only $7.
I just buy a pallet of tablet cases that say "America, love it or leave it."
Oh man, I've thought of another business idea. Okay, so it's one of those Trumpian clothing companies, right? That's selling all this freedom-loving patriots, whatever. We can get ChatGPT to write us something. And then you make the orders. All the orders are going to be cheap though. They're only going to be for like $25, $35. Like you don't want any expensive items. And then we just have a like fake shipping like tracking code generator, and we just make totally bogus tracking codes that are always like off by it. Or no, just figure out how to emulate the ones the postal service does. That way it might just actually track random people's packages, and then just see like how long can you milk it. And like every time they try to like come get a bunch of refunds, you just close the shop and set up another business and keep going.
All you have
Yeah.
to do is put it in your terms of service that you're not responsible for lost packages. And then,
Oh, and dude, you report that the order is missing, and then you say, "United States Postal Service, government." Am I right?
Exactly. Although the only flaw there might be the postal service is going to take that really seriously. If you're alleging that they're not like delivering packages, they're going to be like, what package? And being the postal service, that's probably a crime. I'd probably use DHL. Feels
are
like
you saying we
worry
haven't
about
found a quick
crimes.
workaround for fraud? No, DHL is actually pretty.
These
DHL,
people are frauds.
DHL
DHL
is
good?
they're almost exclusively international.
Okay, so what's the Spirit Airlines of shipping companies? That's what I'm trying to like. You want to pick one that they don't have it together that well, so people will believe that they don't have it together.
Man, I don't know if I know.
Because like UPS and FedEx, I feel like are about the same. Like it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. It's essentially the exact. Well, I prefer UPS. That's boring conversation, so we don't need to get into the details. Actually,
No, this
moving
is good
on. Moving on.
podcast comment. Which shipping company do you prefer?
Well, it is kind of funny when I worked for a retail company in Boston. I managed their fulfillment, and it was we had gone back and forth between FedEx and UPS, and FedEx was like just a nightmare because they essentially a franchise organization.
Yeah,
So
it really
anyone who
depends.
drives a truck, excuse me, anyone who drives a truck is basically bought their route, and their managers are like, I don't know what to tell you, man. Like, there's not a whole lot we can do here when the guy picking your packages up is an asshole. And it's kind of like they try to make it feels kind of like Mary Kay, but for people who just want to drive.
It's like a Snap-on truck.
Yeah.
We're living an extreme day.
Bam, to the bip. I make you want to flip.
You nailed the
we're
timing
back.
there.
Okay, so the other story that I wanted to talk to you about, we've been talking a bunch about music like before the episode and then some during the episode. I remembered a song this week, and it came up. I've been listening to a lot of classic country lately.
Driving around in the Cherokee, just feeling the vibe.
100%. Yeah.
Good.
That's it.
I'm happy for you. I made it sound like
I'm
I was
really
making
trying
fun
out
of
a
you,
new
but no.
identity here.
You should. Is your dog in the car with you?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
And my
Fantastic. Great. That's everything you need. Is there a cold one in the cup holder?
Well, I mean, a cold monster.
That's true. It's you.
Really harking it back to middle school. I get you.
A little Dixieland Delight Monster Rehab.
Casey, if they made hard Monster, would you drink it?
No, I wouldn't. I have no alcohol tolerance. Like this, I drank like a shot and a half over the course of the last like hour of us talking, and this is as far as I go.
But okay, how many monsters do you have a day?
Oh, maybe one.
Okay.
Don't make my problem sound worse than it is.
I'm not trying to make it sound worse than it is. That's a weird line to draw. Of like, I'll drink a Monster a day, but shot and a half of alcohol in it. I don't know. That's a little crazy.
And
Monster
then how many
make me sick immediately?
How many ounces of kratom?
A kratom I do have a problem with. That I do have that's what's gonna kill me for sure.
100%. And you know what? It's kind of funny because if they just legalized weed, they wouldn't be losing so many people to kratom 10 years from now.
I don't think that's true. I think kratom is a superior plant to weed myself personally, and I tell you what, I think kratom cures cancer, and this is me
Okay.
going on the record and saying that.
Yeah, on the record.
So.
This sounds like it comes from
These
one of your.
people are frauds.
Sounds like one of the documentaries that a specific person in your family might be sending you. I've recently come to the conclusion that marijuana is just not for me. I've passed it up probably the last 5 or 6 times, and even in a social setting, like people will be getting high, and I'm just like, no, I'm good. Like,
where are you hanging out in social settings where people are getting high? You're in your 30s. You're a father. What are you doing?
Because literally everyone, because that's just what people, that's what everybody does. I don't think I go to places where people don't have access to marijuana at their fingertips.
I guess where are you guys at that you're like around people?
That's
my
true. I
See,
don't
that's
live
where I
where
was
you
gonna be,
do.
like,
I mean,
you're going
we
to hang
went
out
over
with
the other
people
night
who are
and
doing stuff.
we were like hanging out by a fire. Our kids are all inside watching a movie, and people, you pass a joint around, and
Yeah, that
just
sounds
like,
a lot like hanging out with groups of people, which is not a thing that me and I'm guessing Casey would be doing.
yeah. I mean, you
Yeah.
could do it alone too. Like my wife prefers that over anything. Like she would rather do that than drink. Every time I do it, I'm like, I don't love this. Like I guess after all these years of doing it, I feel like it should, based on how people talk about it, it should be better than it is. And I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. It's got to
Okay,
be
you don't have to do
biological.
drugs, Sam. You don't have to.
But I
You can
want
be
to.
free.
I want to
Okay.
do drugs, and that's what's really hard for me. Is I just really hoped I could do more drugs when I was in my 30s. I'm in my mid 30s, man.
Is this the direction the story was supposed to be going in,
No,
Casey?
Casey hasn't even started his story yet.
Yeah, I don't remember where we left the
moved into
story.
this
Oh,
direction.
we were talking about how I'm trying on like
Casey's got that
Smokey
shot
and
and
the
a half.
Bandit as an identity.
That's
Yeah,
right.
you got that shot
Trying
and a
new
half of
names.
alcohol in you, and your stories are really starting to wander, Pop Pop. There I am in the Cherokee. Got
I'm
the
listening
dog.
to the classic country playlist, and somewhere between Pam Tillis and Conway Twitty, song snuck in there that really doesn't belong in a classic country's playlist, but I appreciated it all the same, and it's called "Courtesy of the Red, White, and Blue."
Yeah, this is a real true classic. Every time it comes on, I get rock fucking hard.
You guys both know this song?
Who
Yeah, I'm looking up
doesn't?
the lyrics, though. It's been a long time since I've heard it. The Toby
I've
Toby
never.
Keith. Yeah,
I don't think I've ever seen a fireworks display without this at least being
See,
just
again,
the music
Sam,
being
going back to
played.
like you're going places where people are having firework displays. There's a difference here. Like, I wouldn't be somewhere where I'd hear this song. That'd be around people.
It hasn't
The only
missed a
time
4th
you're
of
around
July
people is when
since
you're racing.
2002.
Sorry, go ahead, Case. What was that?
Oh, it hasn't missed a 4th of July since 2002.
No,
Oh,
it
for
hasn't.
sure.
But I'm surprised with the amount of time you spend at a racetrack, Jeremiah, that you, that's with people.
Yeah, but
People
you
are
can
at
be in your own
racetracks.
car away from them. I just looked up, and Toby Keith, the song is off his 2002 album Unleashed. Given the timing, that's 100% referring to America going to curb stomp the Middle East, right?
And 100% the name of a Jet Li movie also.
That's true.
Yeah, we covered that last time.
Yeah.
That is true, and that's a good one. Yeah, this is a classic. This may
It's
be
so
the
good.
defining song of our generation, I think.
Are we going to just read all the lyrics to this right now?
Well, I think we should sing them in concert.
I-
American girls and American guys will always stand up and salute. We'll always recognize when we see Old Glory flying, there's a lot of men dead, so that we can sleep in peace at night when we lay down our heads. And then it just goes and goes.
Yeah, but the chorus is the masterpiece.
The bridge
go
is
ahead.
what makes it all come together, though.
Well, am I remembering the right part? That's the chorus where it's like, "Hey, Uncle Sam, put your name at the top of his list," and the Statue of Liberty started shaking her fist.
Yep.
I
and
thought
the
that was the
eagle will
bridge.
fly,
Oh,
man. It's gonna
maybe
be
I'm wrong.
when you hear Mother Freedom start ringing her bell, and it feels like the whole wide world is raining down on you, brought to you courtesy of the red, white, and blue.
Mother Freedom ringing her bell is her having an orgasm, by the way. A lot of you don't know that.
See, you're filthy, and you always take it to sex stuff.
I make it better.
It's insecurity. People are just two red-blooded patriotic alpha men here
Red-blooded.
talk about songs that make us tear up a little bit when we're having a cold one and driving the Cherokee.
Yeah, the word,
And
the
Sam
word
just
that
has to
comes
come
to
in
mind
here and
is
be like,
sacred.
exactly. And he's just coming in here being all Northeasterner up in here, being like, patriotism losers.
What makes me really angry is you said in our truck having a cold one, as though the government hasn't infringed on our rights to drink and drive. And that's probably the most offensive thing you've said.
You know what? I hope scientists invent time travel just so you can go back and get drafted to Vietnam. That's what I So this song was, dude, it really like encapsulates a time period that's hard to put yourself back in the headspace of.
Yep.
And we were young.
Yeah.
Like what were we, like 8th grade, something like that?
What year did you say it was?
2002.
Okay, yep.
Yeah, so it's 8th, 9th grade, yeah.
Somewhere in there. And it was, God, I don't know how you describe it, because you can't roll back all of the things that have happened since then. And I was listening to I listened to a couple of podcasts where they talked about what I'm going to discuss here in a second, and I was kind of getting angry at the way that these like snarky, smug podcaster people were, like corporate podcast people. I mean, literally, this is like iHeartRadio garbage. You know,
Okay.
and
Did you intentionally
being
go
really-
looking for podcasts on? Were they related to the song? Were there's like a song review? How'd you find these,
Well-
and why'd they make you so angry?
Well, because there was, so where this goes from here is Toby Keith, if him in this song represented like mainstream red-blooded Republican America at the time,
Yeah,
who represented the other side?
the Dixie Chicks.
You nailed it. Yes, you nailed it, dude. And he and the Dixie Chicks got in a feud during this time period. because they
Pre-Twitter
were-
battle.
Yeah, this was all happening through legacy media and stuff. And
Statements
very-
reported by the Associated Press.
Did they do diss tracks or no? Just like a few through publicity
Country
statements?
diss tracks.
well, so it started because I mean, the whole controversy around the Dixie Chicks started when they were so, dude, I had totally lost track of how popular the Dixie Chicks were back at that time period.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, okay, so their album, God, it's like "Take Me Away," or it's one of their title, like mainstream, like their landmark songs that they sang, is the title track on an album, and that album sold 13 million copies
Whew.
at the time.
God.
Dude, that is nuts, isn't it? 13 million copies. And then their next album, which is kind of like marred by some of the controversy and stuff like that, still sold like 7 million or something. I mean, they were huge. They were maybe like one of the biggest musical acts at the time. And they're in London doing this like sold out stadium tour type show. And the main person from the Dixie Chicks, God, I'm missing her name now. Natalie Maines. She's the lead singer.
That's right.
And any story that you read or anything you hear about the Dixie Chicks from this time period, she's the only one that's ever quoted.
Mm.
Like, there's 3 members in the group. I don't have their names in front of me, but God, here, let me just
I'm looking them up.
take a look at them real quick here. Just
Natalie
just to be
Maines and then
clear.
sisters Marty McGuire and Emily Strayer.
So Marty and Emily are never quoted in anything. It's always Natalie. She kind of spoke for the group. And as far as I can tell, like they backed her up pretty much like 100% on anything that happened. But like she was the main one that kind of like sparked the controversy. So they're at this huge stadium tour show in London, and it's right as we're about to go into Iraq.
Mm-hmm.
And she makes a comment about how one of the things that we didn't see when we were kids and we were just watching 9/11 footage every day when we got home from school is,
That's all we watched on repeat for months on end.
dude, it was all the time. In fact, I remember there was like a pretty big controversy at some point. I don't know the time period, but I remember there was a big like Fox News controversy around the fact that like other news outlets were like, they were kind of like their policy had shifted to where they were like, hey, let's not continually show the towers getting hit by airplanes and
Yeah.
people dying and stuff. Like, let's just tone that down. It's been years. Maybe people don't need to see this every day. And there was like a backlash over that. You know, I
The
don't
whole
have
never
to the
forget thing of like you're trying to like
Exactly.
brush aside the only thing that everybody talks about or thinks about all the time. Like it was ridiculous, but yeah, I remember that.
Right. Well, and so at the time, we didn't really get to see the fact that, like, when we were about to go into Iraq, there was some of the largest, it might even be the largest protest in world history around the globe, in countries all around the world, of people like protesting the fact that we were about to invade Iraq. It
Yeah.
was a huge global movement that, like, I don't have any memory of.
Not
I
at
don't
all.
remember ever seeing anything about it.
No, same.
Agreed. Yep.
So she was on stage at this London tour deal, and she said something along the lines of, hey, just so you guys know, we're on the same side as you. We do not support going into Iraq, and you know, we don't want to see a bunch of people killed and stuff like that. And then like one media organization picked it up, and that's where the whole controversy started. It was like, you know, the Dixie Chicks don't support the troops. The Dixie Chicks don't want to, like, they're not, like, they're terrorist apologists, basically, all of that. And
That was
it
like one of
put,
the first big like public cancellations, when you say.
yes, it
Yeah.
was.
At least that I could even recall. Because if I'm thinking back as far as I can, that's the first one. I remember I never liked country music, but I remember feeling like these people are like supposedly country artists and they're not supporting George Bush. Like I remember that correlation being mapped in my brain that like if you're country, you're for conservatism. And them not towing the line like stuck out as something that didn't make sense for everything that I understood as like good quality country music, despite not even caring about it.
There was definitely like a feeling of that, like, how dare these people like speak out against, like, we're trying to ensure that America's not attacked again, and Saddam's been a menace since the, you know, since
Since we
the
gave
the
him his
Iraq
job.
Iran war. Yeah, basically, right?
We weren't talking about that in the news either, at least not at that time.
Yeah, and dude, there's so many things, like, looking back on this stuff that I don't know. Like I said, I was listening to like these couple of podcasts about this whole thing, and just like the smug tone about like how people felt at the time, it was kind of making me mad. Like, listening to, like, it's so easy to dismiss now, like, people thought there was weapons of mass destruction. It's so ridiculous. Like, yeah, now it's ridiculous. Like, you cannot roll back everything that we know now, right? Not
No.
only about the fact that there's not weapons of mass destruction, but like, think about how much we've learned about like what the federal government has done to like lie to us and stuff since
Yeah,
then.
I mean, that was the onset of the Patriot Act, basically. We wouldn't have had
100%.
the Patriot Act without that. And that everyone's like bothered by like TikTok's invasion of privacy and stuff like that. But I mean, it's really like the Patriot Act opened the floodgates. And it wasn't till like over a decade later that we realized the implications of what that meant. And even after knowing it, people go, yeah, didn't that suck? Too bad that's just how things are now. And no one's given one fuck about trying to roll something like that back either.
Yeah, and now you're like you went from being a kook to saying, you know, people used to like laugh at the fact that people are like, the government's spying on you. The government's listening to your phone calls, or, you know, reading your emails or something. Like, that used to be insane. Like, when somebody said something like that, and then all of a sudden we learned that They are doing those things in whatever passive sense they are. I mean, there's not some federal agent assigned to Sam. There probably is to
Right.
Jeremiah and I, but there isn't
Yeah,
to Sam.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Right, because you guys own guns.
I've been a gamer. No, it's probably the stuff I've said in game lobbies throughout the years.
Oh man, yeah. This guy's ordered, 7 copies of the Anarchist Cookbook. He's either distributing them or he's really bad at keeping track of them.
Yeah.
But like you can't unknow those things. And it's hard
Right.
to put in context the way people felt when like dude, Colin Powell is like he's like going through a slideshow on TV showing you trucks that he says are loaded with chemical weapons and stuff. Like you cannot, like, laughing off the way that people felt at the time is so irritating to me.
At the time,
Yeah.
people felt like it was another World War II. Like, we're fighting the great evil. The world is coming together to rid the world of this horrible, horrible thing. Like, and I mean, that was at least like 4 years of that.
Yeah,
Before the
and
crack started
every
showing?
like Mr. Like liberal podcaster, like every leftist icon, almost without fail, was in favor of the Iraq War.
Basically, everyone but Bernie Sanders.
With the exception of Bernie Sanders, and they're like, kind of, they could go either way on him depending on what he's saying today, But I don't know. It's just really irritating to listen to like people just laugh off the spirit of the time. And I feel like that's kind of what this song encapsulates, is like, this is how people felt. Like this blew up and went crazy because that's how people felt. It felt like,
It was so on track that Christians were okay with the word ass for ever afterward. Like that made ass okay.
Yeah.
I feel like without context, that's a very clippable clip.
That made ass okay. The poop hole loophole is what we're getting back to.
100%.
No, but what do we need to quote the lyrics? What is it? Something about Lady Liberty. She'll put a boot up your ass. That's the American way. Yeah, I mean, like everyone's like, if I heard my kids say ass, I'd put them in a corner and shove a block of soap in their mouth. But I hear in this song about Lady Liberty shoving a boot up terrorist ass, and we are here to party and blow stuff up, but not in a terrorist way. It's just like the righteous kind of colorful display of fireworks kind of way. Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Yeah, like nowadays, like there's people dismiss things that are obviously a problem now just for whatever political reason, or that it's detrimental to the person that they're trying to get, elected or opposing or whatever. Back
like
then,
Biden can't ride a bike. I mean, we should have really had that should have been a bigger thing, right? Biden having a hard time on a bicycle.
Right.
People just swept that one under the rug.
Do you guys remember when the Abu Ghraib stuff came up?
Oh yeah, dude. I read a book that like shocked me to my core on Abu Ghraib from a guy who hasn't written a lot. It was called "A Good War is Hard to Find," and it was like this tiny little book. I don't remember
He
how
died in a car accident in like 2012. It's really weird.
Michael Hastings.
No, he was a journalist, and
You said Michael Hastings, and now I'm definitely on a list.
But yeah, I found his book after the fact. He was a journalist that was able to see some of the shit that was going on there and wrote about how it shocked him. And that was the first book I read where I was like, oh my God, maybe things were fucked up. And I was just a kid that was along for the ride. Like that was the first book. I had this, I don't really know where I'd fall on that spectrum now, but I had a moment or in a time where I was like, would have classified myself as maybe like a full blown pacifist. And reading that book at the time was one of the things that made me be like, that impacted me and kind of moved me a peg forward on that trajectory.
Yeah. It's
dark.
It's dark. And at the time it was still like Abu Ghraib was a real turning point, I think, in how everyone felt about the war. Like there was a lot of people all of a sudden that like that shook their understanding of America as being a benevolent force in the Middle East. And you went one of two directions. And I feel like, I mean, I was a kid, I was still in high school at the time, I think, but I remember like being disgusted that someone would have leaked those things because it would hurt the war effort. It would hurt America's standing over there. It might radicalize, troops. I'm sure that was like Fox News talking points at the time. It's probably Hannity was talking about that or something, but it was like, this is going to mobilize the resistance against America. Like American troops are going to be in danger because someone leaked this footage and these pictures.
Right, and that's the wrong part, is the leak, which is always how that stuff goes.
That's the wrong,
the disloyalty.
Yeah, like
that's
obviously
Julian
this
Assange
is bad.
Still can't show his face anywhere.
Look, guys, there are proper channels,
right? Of course,
to bring accountability to these situations, and like the person who leaked this is irresponsible because they should have gone through the proper channels.
And the
just
proper
like
channel
Julian
is
Assange and Edward Snowden and everybody.
Right, because the proper channel is the path that a bullet takes from the front of your forehead to the back of your skull. That's the proper channel.
The proper channel is 120 miles an hour into a tree.
Yeah, the proper channel are your brake lines don't work. That's
so. Yeah, it's just you can't really encapsulate like the mindset back in 2003 or whatever this was when Kiefer
Sutherland,
Toby Keith and the Dixie Chicks kind of got into a spat. So he released this song, basically said that it was kind of inspired by his feelings about 9/11. His dad was a veteran. He talks about that in the song. He lost an eye, and he supposedly wrote it in like 20 minutes or something. And
it sounds it. I mean, lyrically, that's not shocking. Also, this is his version of "Some Gave All." Also, let's go back to.
Look, it's not Cormac McCarthy, but it's put together.
Yeah,
it's fine. It's a country. He's like an everyman country singer, like pop country singer. This is better than 90% of what country music is now.
That's fair. I mean, this is a very direct message, and like you're either in or you're out. Like it's not some sappy love song or just talking about nonsense, like vague cross like cultural appeal nonsense. He's very clear about exactly what this song is going to be from the very beginning.
So the clarity
is the essence of wit.
Yeah. So clarity is what makes it solid country music.
I'm saying he's not wishy-washy like modern pop country, like where it's just very vanilla rehashed stuff most of the time. Like he's taking a stand for something.
So that's the quality of country music, though.
Sam,
taking a stand.
If you stand for something, you know what's going to happen.
It's going to happen. Yeah, I do.
You fall for anything, Sam. You fall for anything.
Fall for anything, Sam.
Oh,
Sam.
Guys.
Say his
name. God damn, you guys.
Dude, okay, I'm blanking on her name, but on Breaking Points, who's the lady that's a part of the Counterpoints?
Oh, I don't remember. The
Ryan
one who
Grimm, and
she talks
I can't remember her name.
Like the lady from the show Baskets. That's what I think of when she talks.
I'm not familiar with Baskets, but I'm sure it makes sense.
It's like a complete lack of personality.
So she described country music the other day, like modern country music, as like redneck Mad Libs. It's like, God, that's so perfect. Anyways, so yeah, Toby Keith writes this song. He wasn't gonna release it because he thought it was just kind of like, this is personal. This is for me.
You write that email sometimes. You come back to that email the next day. You're like, "Whew, I'm glad I didn't send that draft." Like, let's just simmer it back down.
My instant thought is, I'm not going to release it. Was like, this will make a good story later when I say I wasn't going to release it. And everyone's like, did you know he wasn't even going to release that song? Did you guys know that? That is how everybody sounded once that interview came out.
Okay, but think about you putting yourself in this position, right? So
pull me out of my cynicism.
This song, he's like to not planning on recording it and releasing it, and then
Air quotes.
he plays a show at the Pentagon for a
Because
group
that was
of
a thing.
Marines.
Because that was a thing that we used to do a lot of back then.
This was a thing, dude. They sent
And he-
Adam
no,
Devine over
fuck
to
this
an
guy.
aircraft
He's so-
carrier to do stand up for the troops.
I know what this has to tell me if he wasn't going to record it. He had no intention of using it, but then in front of all these people at the wherever he was, did you say
Troops, the
Pentagon, White House,
Yep.
Pentagon, right? He decides impromptu, not
The
part of
com-
the set list, just whips this one out, and it gets a standing ovation.
Dude, the Commandant of the Marine Corps, James L. Jones, told Keith it was his duty as an American citizen to record the song. Quote, "It's your
Come on.
job as an entertainer to lift the morale of the troops. If you want to serve, this is what you can do.
Oh my gosh, this is what a parable.
Now
Yeah.
go home and don't record it."
Oh my
You know,
God.
at that point, you don't record this song, you're basically like the Abu Ghraib leaker.
It's true.
You're more or less you're indirectly killing American troops. It's like you're
Like-
taking the bullets out of their gun. You want to be responsible for that, Sam?
It's the
I mean, I
equivalent
know
of,
you're a bleeding heart that hates the military, but do you want to take the bullets out of a soldier's gun? Can you live with yourself?
it's the equivalent of Ron
See,
DeSantis
think
not
before you
ordering
answer.
torture on people in Guantanamo. It's that.
You think Ron DeSantis is gonna waterboard like Kathleen Kennedy when he gets a hold of her?
If they haven't already in their weird dark role plays.
I'm just expecting Disney to actually field a candidate. Like they're just gonna say, like, screw it, we'll run for president. Like we're
Just
ready to make
Disney,
this real
the Disney
personal.
Corporation runs for
Yeah, the
president.
Disney Corporation. Bob
just
Iger
wanna-
is like, we're gonna turn this franchise around.
Oh my god! Can you imagine like DeSantis gets elected president, and all of a sudden Bob Iger is strapped into a chair, and DeSantis is like holding jumper cables like over a car battery, and he's like, "How many genders are there?
Yeah.
How many? How many, Bob?
Let's
Tell me
be
how many
honest.
genders there are, Bob."
Disney's private military would take him out before he got within a mile of Bob Iger.
That's the
Oh my
funniest
God.
thing.
You know
Okay.
what? We ought to encourage these billionaires to all run for president at the same time. All those fragile egos with all that money competing against each other. Like that's, I think America, like we all agreed the last time, a lot of us agreed. Trump and Biden are like the worst two choices from each party, and now we have to choose between them. Like
Again,
lean
we're
into that.
back
I
to
think
square one.
this could bring America together. Let's watch Bezos and Musk and Gates like all just slugging it out with billions and billions of dollars.
And it
against the
needs to be a
Disney
Netflix
Corporation.
show. It needs to be Netflix. Like the presidential election is no longer democratic. It's a Netflix show. It's like one of their dating game shows, but you're running for president, and you get like 12 of these old white fucks with too much money. I think you're onto something there.
I mean, we're
gentlemen.
gonna be diverse. I want Oprah in there as well. She's a billionaire.
Okay, I'll take that.
Rihanna's also a
they don't-
billionaire, which in one
So
of the
only
Kardashians.
billion. Okay, I like this. Only
Yeah, but
billionaires.
We want
only billionaires.
people who obviously have the business acumen, like Kid Kardashian. There, like we want their opinions. I want them debating each other.
Yeah,
This is a good plan. Taylor Swift's gonna
It's
be
like-
a billionaire at the end of this
it's like
tour.
American
so get
Idol.
her in there.
it's like the
Actually,
debate
I can only
Taylor's-
version of American
Taylor
Idol.
Swift would win. I'm sorry, Sam. I kept interrupting you. This guy posted this video. He was like, "What does she do to have all this power?" And he's showing a video of like he lives close enough to a stadium where she's playing that he can, see it from his window. And there's like a crowd in the parking lot the size of the stadium watching the show on screens. And he was like, "And this is night 2. This is the second night she's here." She's like, this woman has so much power.
I mean, honestly, if she was old enough to throw her hat in the ring for president right now,
Have you
if
not
she-
read this conspiracy theory?
No, is that what that's
that a
about?
thing?
That she's working towards.
So, all right. So
being
I only know
president?
this because Taylor Swift was born in the same year as me, 1989. But there is a joke that started that, like most other things, people can't tell how seriously you're taking it after a point, where Taylor Swift would not be old enough to be president while she was running, but would be old enough to be president at the time of being sworn in?
I look.
Dude, I'll vote for over Trump or Biden.
Yeah, if you
I'm not good with that.
What do we got to lose at this point?
Literally
That's like
nothing.
Who
problem.
gets to manage the unraveling at this point? Like,
Right. Who gets to ride that ship down?
Who gets to scream? Who gets to be screamed at by Marjorie Taylor Greene and Lauren Boebert as she goes through her divorce?
oh man, you had
Now,
to
all right,
put
here's
a
the thing, on
sour
the-
note into things.
Yeah, on the
death
decline of
true
America.
love.
Yeah, back to happier things like the decline of American civilization. Do you want to be at the top? Like, where on the boat sink do you want to be president? Like, do you want to be where like everyone's definitely we're slipping below the water now, it's gonna get bad, or do you want to be the guy who's on it when it hits the bottom?
Well,
Just
you
to
don't
say
want to
that,
be
like-
Tsar Nicholas. I know that much.
That's true. Yeah, when it hits
You
the
don't wanna
bottom,
be-
that's
you
when
don't wanna be
Tsar
Muammar
Nicholas gets
Gaddafi.
appointed. Yeah, but the guy before that, do you want to be the guy who's just like, dang, probably get out after this one? Like,
If you're gonna be Muammar Gaddafi, get your tetanus shot now.
oh man,
Oh god. Okay. Dude, we might have to tackle this on like another day because it's
oh wait, you're still not to the point of the story.
no. Okay, so I'm just setting up the two titans who are
We've
about
only-
to clash.
Oh
right
my
now,
God,
Wait,
right?
Really?
this seriously is still about the Dixie Chicks, Toby Keith rat beef.
That was the whole thing. If you two bros could keep it on task, you know what I mean?
No, that's not what we do
You
here.
got to give us a summary ahead of time of what the point of the story is supposed to be, because we're just taking turns everywhere. I'm sorry, man.
I mean,
well,
we're an hour and a half in. Do we do the meat of this as a part 2? I mean, what do we do here?
I kind of want to hear the story at this point.
We could do that.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, but
I mean,
it
it
took us 30
essentially
minutes to get
becomes like
through the preliminary. I mean, what are we gonna do this for another 45 minutes?
I'm good with that. Let's revisit it on the next solo episode, and I can I'll do a little more research, and we can do a deeper dive into it because it is fun. It is fun, and it's like there's a clear winner at the time.
And
I mean,
the
at least
clear
it
winner
seems to me.
isn't the person who won in the celebrity deathmatch episode of this rivalry, right?
No, but I would claymate this in a heartbeat. For sure, get the Wallace and Gromit guys on top of it.
Yeah, claymate.
All right, so next solo episode, we will see the Dixie Chicks go head to head with Toby Keith. It is truly the Proud Boys versus Antifa in 2003. A real Marjorie
need a
Taylor
bracket
Greene
going.
versus AOC.
I was gonna say Marjorie Taylor Greene versus like high school
Musical.
subjects. I don't know. But that'd be Lauren Boebert. Never mind.
versus High School Musical.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. And if you enjoy the show, share it with a friend, preferably a friend that's still going to talk to you after they listen to it. They're not going to file a report at work. If you're going to share it with a coworker, just be very cautious. That's all I would say.
Yeah, because I don't even share this with my coworkers, so I get why you might not, but
Jeremiah does because he's a peach. He's a wonderful man, and he does so anyways, regardless of the consequences.
it helps to be in an environment where there's. It is funny when you're like, doing this. It's like this feels like a different world than where I work. Like I don't work. You even Casey work in a pretty, like just culturally Christian environment. There's nothing culturally Christian about where I am, and nothing about what I'm doing here would make sense to 99% of the people who I would brush shoulders with at work. They'd be like,
Some
what
might
is
say
that?
that's at the heart of our educational problems
Right.
in the U.S.
And they might, and I might say that's why Massachusetts generally does better with education than the places that think that we're the problem. So
How do you do it growing food? How you doing at that?
Oh!
we're pretty good. There's actually a lot of farms in Massachusetts.
There's a lot of lobsters. You can just pull them out of the water.
Have
I'll
you
tell you
been-
what,
seaweed
we'll
farm?
all succeed. We'll all secede, and you guys have fun boiling your belts and shoes.
The United States of New England would succeed quite well, I believe.
Casey, you can't secede unless like 15 other states between you and the water want to. Like
Yeah.
you're just you're a prisoner of whatever the Midwest is doing.
This is just me ceremonially slapping the aquifer and saying, like, we got at least 8 good years left in this bad boy.
If we could take New England plus like New York, we're fine. I mean, we could easily sustain our own economy.
Well, you'd probably just by voting to be a new province for Canada.
No, independent of Canada, but we'd still have universal health care.
Oh, and if you're not in our Discord, you should join it. It's fun. You know what? There's a lot of cool people in there that you can talk to and share you can vent about whatever, your mom's trying to get you to do, or you can post the cool shirts like mine that you find at Walmart.
Or
for
you
$5.
could talk with me and a couple others about how awesome Tears of the Kingdom is, if you're a Legend of Zelda fan.
Or you could just sit in the shadows and
Lurk, be
judge
a
people.
lurker.
The link is in our link tree. It's on our Instagram, so you can go there and find our Discord and join up. It's fun. So do that. Have a great rest of your Memorial Day, and we will